APIs are everywhere in our daily lives. And when you use a mobile app to check the weather, or book a ride, or order food, you're interacting with APIs. Websites that display maps or social media feeds or even online shopping carts, they all rely on APIs to fetch and display data from different sources. So, what is an API? An API, or Application Programming Interface, it's a set of rules, protocols, and tools that allows different software apps to communicate and interact with each other. Think of an API not just as code, but as the invisible digital glue that's holding the modern world together. It is the standardized protocol that allows your legacy enterprise systems to speak to cutting-edge AI. Today, we're going to dissect what exactly an API is and the role it plays in the era of modern AI. So, let's take a very simplified explanation of how APIs work. Let's say that you're on your smartphone and you are using the weather app to find out what is the weather in your current location. Well, you send that request, and the app uses an API to send the request through the weather services API and then to the server. So the API goes out and it goes to the server and then gets the information and comes back. Now you have your weather. The API has retrieved it from the weather app's server and brought it back and is now on your smartphone to display. So when you're using artificial intelligence, APIs, well, they can act like a straw, right, that feeds a company's private information into an AI model so it can answer specific questions. Why is this important? Well, the API is allowing the AI to do more than just talk. It can act on your behalf, like booking a flight or sending an email. Now, there are various types of APIs, and each serve different purposes. Web APIs, or sometimes known as HTTP protocol APIs, they're the most common, and they're used to communicate over the internet using standard web protocols. Now, there are four main types of web API. First, you have your open APIs. What these sound like, they're public. These are open source APIs that are defined, they have defined endpoints, and they really have request and response formats. Then you have partner APIs, also pretty much what it sounds like, where these connect strategic business partners, right? They're typically accessed through login credentials. So when a dev has a login credential and goes to a self-service API developer portal to get an API. Now, the next one is internal APIs or private APIs. These, like what they sound like, are hidden from external users. So organizations can use these to improve productivity and communications across internal dev teams. And then, of course, you have composite APIs. These combine multiple data or service APIs and allow programmers to access several endpoints in a single call. Makes things much faster, and they're particularly useful in microservices architecture. Now, other than web, there are a couple other really big noticeable types of APIs, databases, and operating system APIs. Overall, there are two really key benefits of APIs. One, they simplify the design and development of new apps and services, and the integration of existing ones. So we'll say one benefit is innovation. The other benefit, well, that would be collaboration. They enable developers to incorporate existing services into new apps rather than build duplicate functions from the ground up. And they can even help teams build workflows that incorporate multiple platforms, apps, and systems. Innovation and collaboration. Traditionally, API referred to an interface connected to an application created with any of the low-level programming languages, such as JavaScript. However, modern APIs, well, they vary in their architectures and use of data formats. They are typically built for HTTP and result in developer-friendly interfaces that are easily accessible and widely understood by applications written in Java, Ruby, Python, many languages. Now, as the use of these specifically web APIs has increased, it's led to the development and use of certain protocols and architectures and frameworks, each with their own strengths and limitations, in order to facilitate standardized information exchange. These include things like the Simple Object Access Protocol, or SOAP, and RPC, or Remote Procedure Call. So, SOAP, RPC. You also have variations on RPC like XML, RPC, JSON, RPC, and Google RPC. You also have things like WebSocket, GraphQL, and REST, or Representational State Transfer. Now, as APIs become more prevalent, ensuring that their security is, well, it's of the utmost importance. It's essential. API security best practices include things like authentication and authorization, making sure that those who need access have it and those who don't need it don't have it. Also, things like encryption to protect data as it's being moved. And finally, rate limiting, which prevents abuse. Now, developers, of course, should also follow API design principles, such as using clear and consistent naming conventions, providing comprehensive documentation, and versioning APIs in order to manage changes over time. I hope you can see that as technology continues to evolve, APIs will play an even more significant role in shaping the future of software development. APIs, they enable seamless communication between billions of connected devices, creating a more interconnected and intelligent world. APIs will also continue to drive innovation in areas such as AI, machine learning, and blockchain technology. In short, APIs are quite literally the building blocks and connections of the digital world, allowing for innovative solutions that can transform the way we work, live, and interact with technology. So tell me, how are APIs impacting your life? Comment below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.